Soldier Field, Chicago. That's the final frontier for Gold Cup 2007. The semifinals get underway tonight with the United States taking on Canada in game number 1. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to our coverage of Gold Cup 2007 alongside Shep Messing. I'm Steve Cangelosi. For the United States tonight, it is another step towards defending the Gold Cup championship that they won 2 years ago. For Canada, it's a chance to play with the big boys and show that they belong. This is a Canadian team that really, with the exception of one loss to Guadeloupe, has been very impressive in this tournament, Shep.
Yeah, Steve, I really think you highlighted the right point. For the U.S., the pressure's on them. They want to win the Gold Cup championship. They have to go through Canada. Canada looks like a good team, and they don't have any pressure.
Let's talk about how they got here. Well, the United States in group play, of course, was perfect. 3 games, 3 wins. They outscored the opposition 7-0 in those 3 victories, and they come off a 2-1 victory over Panama in the quarterfinals, allowing their first goal of this tournament. As for Canada, well, the one little blip on the screen in that group play session was the loss to Guadeloupe. Otherwise, they won their 2 games, and they come off a victory over Guatemala to advance to the semifinal round here tonight. In Chicago, the U.S. and Canada get the doubleheader started. Starting lineups, the opening kickoff coming right up.
At the Gatorade Sports Science Institute, we test athletes in the lab. Because we know they'll be tested on the field. Gatorade, the most tested sports drink on the planet.
Work like a pro. Play like a pro. Tackle tough jobs. Dominate the game. Destroy the competition. Go professional. Choose Makita.
It's a beautiful evening in Chicago as the United States and Canada march onto the field for the semifinal, and right away our first surprise. It'll be Casey Keller and not Tim Howard in goal. The winner today advances to Sunday's championship game. Welcome again to our coverage of Concacaf Gold Cup 2007 with Shep Messing. I'm Steve Cangelosi. Keller today, Shep, will get his 100th cap.
And I think, Steve, that's why he's in the game. I would have thought Bob Bradley, if he wanted to give Casey Keller his 100th appearance, would have done that against Panama in their last game. Let Tim Howard, the goalkeeper of the future, get used to playing in the pressure of a semifinal and then maybe a final game.
And as we get a look at the United States starting 11, it will be Keller in the back. They play 4 in the back defensively. Haydick and Yewa, Bocanegra and Bornstein. Mastroianni and Bradley in the midfield defensively. Donovan and Beasley out wide, and then Eddie Johnson and Clint Dempsey up top.
Yeah, that's the other surprise for me, Eddie Johnson. I would have thought that Bob Bradley would not go with Eddie Johnson, but he's got versatility. It looks like he wanted to utilize speed. That's why he has Eddie Johnson in the starting 11.
And the Canada team that Stephen Hart puts out, Pat Onstad, has won all 3 starts in the Gold Cup this year for Canada. Greg Sutton lost his game. They play 4 in the back. The captain, Stalteri, has really stood out in this tournament.
There's no question. For Canada to win this game, Steve, they need Stalteri, de Guzman, De Rosario to have big games. Those are their go-to guys. Anything less than a great game by those 3 will not bode well for Canada.
Canada won the Gold Cup in 2000, the only time a team other than the U.S. or Mexico has won it all. Stephen Hart coaching this tournament, and then he'll become Dale Mitchell's assistant at the conclusion of the Under-20 World Cup. The referee for today's match, Armando Arcundia from Mexico, and we are underway. The United States in white, Canada in red. The stadium is filling up, and by the time the second game begins tonight between Mexico and Guadeloupe, this place will be jam-packed. Underway at Soldier Field, the United States controls on the back line and plays it forward. Up top in the direction of Eddie Johnson. Ball comes to Landon Donovan, who fires, and quickly Pat Onstad is put to the cest. Rebound comes way out to the top of the box, and it's cleared.
Steve, I always talk about the first 5-10 minutes of each game being very important, just in terms of which team can try and dictate the pace.
Throw in on the near side. Played forward by the United States in the direction of Clint Dempsey, who we've been accustomed to seeing as a midfielder for the U.S. He's a forward now for this team. Donovan racing down the right side. Shot blocked in front. United States buzzing in the early going here. This is Frankie Haydock with a cross, but it's headed out. On the back line, controlled now by Onyewu, who plays it wide. This is all U.S. in the opening minute of this game. Haydock plays it into the box, headed out immediately, but still kept alive by Mastroianni. Right back to Frankie Haydock. On the right side, the Columbus Crew defender looks to cross, and the ball straddles the line, and it's gobbled up by Onstead.
Well, Canada has 8 guys in their own penalty area. This was the first ball played over the top by Bocanegra, was not headed out well. And here is the shot by Landon Donovan. That ball dipping, swerving. Onstead punches it away.
Donovan's had a good tournament. All of his goals have come on penalty kicks, the 2 that he's scored to this point in the tournament, but all around his play has been impressive.
I think you're right, Steve. Landon Donovan's speed, ability to run with the ball out of the midfield has been tremendous in this Gold Cup.
This is Stalteri who plays this back, shaking off DeMarcus Beasley. Martin Nash plays this wide to the opposite side. Ante Jazic brings this down, getting the start once again at left back. Hastings and Hainaut have been the 2 central defenders for Canada in every game of this tournament. Bernier, right side, brought down, free kick coming up. He was fouled by Jonathan Bornstein, and right off the bat, a yellow card for the United States. It's the first of the match.
Yeah, there are a couple of positions on this USA team where they're young players, inexperienced at the international level. Bornstein gets beaten. Actually, a very good tactical foul by the young left back.
In the 20th minute of play, Jonathan Bornstein gets the caution, so a chance now for Canada against Keller. Casey Keller, as we mentioned, his 100th appearance for the United States. That ties the all-time mark for a U.S. goalkeeper set by Tony Meola. Here's the set piece, struck by Nash. Headed high, United States looks to play it out, but Eddie Johnson can't totally clear it. Now the U.S. on a second try with Donovan will push forward. Landon Donovan, far side of the field, races around one defender, but it's taken away. No score, first half, Soldier Field in Chicago, the venue for the semifinals tonight, the championship on Sunday.
Once again, Steve, I was talking about the starting 11 for the U.S. This is a speed lineup that Bob Bradley has gone with the likes of Donovan, Beasley, Johnson, Dempsey.
De Rosario into open space. Plays it forward, knocked away as Gerba tried to get around 2 U.S. defenders, could not, and it's cleared back the other way.
This is Frankie Haydock getting forward. That's going to be an issue for the Canadians to defend against, and that's one of those individual matchup we talked about. Frankie Haydock on the right, outside back. That's De Rosario's side of the field, so he's got to track back and mark him, and the more De Rosario can get forward, the more he'll pin Frankie back to defend.
There are 2 U.S. players, or several, 2 that come to mind are Haydock, who you just mentioned, and DeMarcus Beasley, who have to be careful during the course of this game because if they're issued a yellow card, they would not play in the final. More on that as we move along. Canada plays it forward. De Guzman shakes loose of one defender. Oh, and he's hit hard by Carlos Bocanegra. The referee Arcundia steps up. That's a yellow card for Bocanegra in the game's 29th minute. Oh, he came in hard to De Guzman.
Well, I'll tell you what, Steve Cangelosi, I think he's lucky this isn't a red card. My view, that's a red card violation. He just absolutely comes in. No shot at the ball. That's the definition of a red card. Violent. Reckless, it's a yellow. Violent, it's a red. To me, Carlos Bocanegra and the U.S. got off lucky.
We've seen red for a lot less than that in this tournament. Certainly several times. And De Guzman appears lucky. His head just missed a very, very awkward landing.
You know, we talk about the trio in North America, Mexico and the U.S., not a friendly rivalry. U.S.-Canada, sort of a friendly rivalry. Maybe that friendly rivalry just ended. That's a violent foul. Bocanegra lucky to still be on the field.
Free kick Canada now. As we play along, get the signal from Arcundia. Di Rosario into the box. That was Hainaut making a run, but it's taken away by the United States. This rivalry also has been rather one-sided. Canada is trying today for its first win over the U.S. since 1985. Winless the last 12 times these teams have met. Donovan for the U.S. now. Far side, marches forward. Landon Donovan, great job to possess. Tries to get around Nash, now tries to split two defenders. Jazik is there to cut him off and start back for Canada.
Yeah, I like that Landon Donovan didn't go down. He's fighting off tackles. In the end, he lost the ball, but he's got great balance when he runs. There's young Michael Bradley winning the ball.
Ahead, the U.S. plays it towards Eddie Johnson, but this takes a bounce and goes to Pat Onstad in goal. We're scoreless in Chicago as Onstad lays this down. Greg Sutton unavailable for today's match due to a concussion. Now, as this bounds all the way back to Keller, he comes in hard with Ali Gerba. And Keller giving Gerba a piece of his mind. He is slow to his feet and appears to be hobbling.
Let's watch this play. Casey Keller hesitated. Gerber did the right thing. He got a foot on the ball, crashed into Casey Keller. Keller, with that little bit of hesitation, caused the conflict.
De Guzman, corner kick, headed high, and Yewu was there. Beasley, off the chest, can't control for the U.S. Instead, this is De Guzman again for Canada. He had 2 goals in their first win. Nash with a cross. Far side of the field, Di Rosario tried to get to it. Ball knocked all the way back, where Bernier plays it for Canada. Good stretch now by the Canadians as they march on here late in the first half. Hainaut tries to control, and he does. It's taken away. Good build-up by Canada. Top of the box. Foul is called against the United States there. This is a free kick coming up in a dangerous spot.
Yeah, one of the weaknesses, Steve, in this tournament has been in the central part of the defense. Onyewu gave the ball away. Now Bocanegra with the foul. You don't want to be fouling this spot on the field, so some sloppy play in the central part of the defense.
This will be from about 23 yards away. Let's see how Canada plays it. Di Rosario there, Stalteri as well, as the wall forms in front of Casey Keller. In Keller's one other appearance in this Gold Cup, he shut out Trinidad and Tobago. Good overall effort by the United States that day in a 2-0 win, but this is a big spot here as Di Rosario will look to give Canada the lead. He's hot, 3 goals in his last 2 games. Let's see who takes it, though. Nash is there, so is Stalteri. They play it short, deflected off the post. Oh, a near miss. Rebound slowly to Keller as Gerba was there.
That was a deflected ball. There's the touch. It goes off the back of a U.S. player. He's got to be in an offside position, though, Gerba. That went off the end of the wall. I think even if that had got in, it would not have counted, Steve.
Indeed, the flag did go up on the far side. Good eye. Bornstein plays this for the United States. Johnson got a foot on it. Now played back by Bernier. Into open space, Atiba Hutchinson tries to get to it for Canada. Instead, Michael Bradley plays it forward. Dempsey for Johnson. Offside, U.S.
That's just a mistimed run, but Michael Bradley doing a great job winning the ball in the midfield. There's Eddie Johnson, just starts his run, split second too early. That always amazes me. Just trying to gain that extra yard. Hold your run. Make sure you're onside before you take off.
Bernier near side, marked by Bornstein. Patrice Bernier plays this back to Stalteri now. Into open space. Taken away by Beasley for the United States. Ahead for Eddie Johnson now. Between 3 Canada players, does the smart thing, plays it off a defender, and this will be a throw-in for the United States. That man is undefeated as U.S. national team head coach. 8-0-1 the U.S. team is since Bob Bradley at first took over on an interim basis for Bruce Arena and now has the job full-time. Bornstein with the throw-in. Off the mark, played by Nash to De Guzman now. Stephen Hart looking to make the most of this big chance in an interim spot. Jazik plays it forward. Knocked away. Bornstein tries to control, and on a second chance he will. Plays it ahead to Beasley. Into open space. Mastroianni lays this back. And here comes the United States now. Dempsey a bit more withdrawn. Mastroianni plays it wide now for Haydick. Frankie Haydick, a milestone for him today as well, a 75th cap. Taken down far side of the field is Clint Dempsey. Foul called against Canada.
It was Haydick who played the ball wide to the right to Clint Dempsey. No question that's a foul. De Guzman comes crashing in late. U.S. has shown to be very proficient on these set pieces, Steve.
Beasley is the man marching over to take it. It's usually been Donovan from that place and in general on the free kicks.
Well, the reason they want DeMarcus Beasley here, he'll hit it with the left foot swinging into goal. Landon Donovan, right-footed, would hit it the other way.
Here's DeMarcus, who has 2 goals in this tournament. Let's see how they play it. There's the in-swinger. Kept alive by the U.S. Mastroianni gives to Donovan. Landon Donovan plays it back. Frankie Haydick with a drive off the post, goal! Frankie Haydick gives the United States a 1-0 lead.
Smile, Bob Bradley. That first goal, Steve, all important. And we talk about the outside backs. You were just talking about Frankie Haydick. Nobody picks him up. He's a right back. This ball bouncing around. Good recognition by this man. Landon Donovan plays it into space. Nobody near Frankie Haydick, and he cracks it off the post.
Michael Bradley thought he might be in the line of sight of the goal, and he just hit the deck when he saw Haydick step up.
Bradley has played great, and again, when you're a outside right back, you end up centrally on the field. Nobody marked him at all, and Canada got punished.
De Guzman tried to play this forward, taken away by the United States. For Frankie Haydick, his first goal for the United States national team in 8 years. It's not what he does, but he has a big one today. Bocanegra for Onyewu. Gucci Onyewu plays this long. Donovan making a run down the center of the field. He came together with Hainaut. Hastings on the ball now. Avoids Dempsey and plays it outside. The crowd continuing to file in here at Soldier Field. Mexico. Guadalupe, the Cinderella story in the second game of the semifinals. Late first half, Donovan on the march now for the U.S. Brought down by Nash. They'll call a foul. They're going to say this is against Donovan. It's a dive, and he gets a yellow card for that.
Wow, I thought there was contact. Martin Nash immediately made the gesture of a dive. You know what? I think he's right. Landon Donovan felt the contact coming and left his feet. I think that's a good call by the ref.
So the yellow for Donovan. He is not one of the U.S. players that was in caution trouble leading up to the final. Of course, he doesn't want another one today.
Here's the goal, and I love the recognition of Landon Donovan. Plays the square ball. You're right about Michael Bradley. Does a great job saying, I don't want to be in the way of this. Hits the ground. Frankie Haydick strikes that ball very well. Remember, this is a very good time for Frankie to be coming back into the national team. His injury prevented him from joining the team. He would have gone to Germany. So, great comeback by Frankie.
This is played out by Keller. Throw-in coming up for Canada. He'll be 34 for the next World Cup, so who knows? Has the window closed? Well, he'd like to think no. Stalteri for Canada. Bernier looking for De Guzman. Kept alive, though. This is Stalteri now. Paul Stalteri, left-footed drive. Sails over the crossbar. Might have been deflected.
You wonder whether that hard tackle by Bocanegra early in the game on De Guzman has taken him out of the game a little bit. If you're Canada, he really hasn't had enough touches. Here's Stalteri getting forward. Nobody steps up, so he takes a crack with the left foot.
The fixture at right back, Paul Stalteri, Tottenham Hotspur since 2005. Keller plays this to the center of the field. Bornstein tried to push it ahead to Donovan. Instead, Nash now on the ball. Lays it for Jazik. A 1-0 United States lead in this first half in Chicago. De Rosario works for Canada, for de Guzman. Played back for Stalteri, who waits and brings it down in the direction of Hainaut. Andrew Hainaut.
Yeah, Steve, if you're Canada, you really have to find De Rosario and de Guzman. They haven't had a lot of the ball. U.S. has the goal. If you're Canada, you really have to start picking up the pace of this game a little bit.
Dempsey plays it back. Onyewu is on the ball now for the U.S. Now de Guzman gets up. The midfielder applies the pressure. Gets right up to Keller, who lets it go. Onyewu on the ball. Bocanegra played it. Now Canada pushing forward a little bit more, but a whistle on the play. Free kick U.S. Played by the United States now. Deep for Beasley. DeMarcus Beasley. Hit by Onstad. Penalty kick. DeMarcus Beasley got the foul call in the box. And a great chance for the United States now.
He could have gotten a red card, Onstad, on that play. What a ball out of the back. I think it was Michael Bradley. It might have been Bornstein who played it. Sends DeMarcus Beasley into the box. Onstad, no question, that's a good call. Watch, he's going to miss the ball. Two hands, trips DeMarcus Beasley. Big time moment in this first half.
You could read lips. Onstad was saying, that's horrible, to the referee Arcundia. Now he has to get it together because this is a big, big moment in the game.
And remember, these guys, Onstad and Landon Donovan, had been teammates in Major League Soccer, so there's a real mental game going on. How many times has Landon Donovan taken the PKs, penalty kicks against Onstad in practice when they played together? It's a real guessing game, this all-important moment.
Donovan has scored twice in this tournament, both on penalty kicks. Here comes the ritual we've seen as he places the ball down and gets set to go for the United States. He has 32 career goals. If he scores here, 33 would put him only one behind the U.S. all-time leading goal scorer, Eric Wynalda. Here's Donovan. 2-0 United States.
I'm surprised, Steve. I'm surprised that Onstad decided to go one way. These guys all watch videotape. All the penalty kicks that Landon Donovan has taken in this tournament directly down the middle. Onstad decides to guess right. Boy, that ball is savable. All he had to do, if I'm Onstad watching the film, watching this tournament, I don't move. But it is what it is, and Landon Donovan converts. That's all that counts for the U.S.
His third goal of the tournament, all on penalty kicks, and it is huge. 2-0 now. United States, will they go to the locker room with that lead? Pressure applied by Eddie Johnson. That'll do it. The first half comes to an end with a 2-0 U.S. lead. Our halftime coverage of the semifinals kicks off in just a few moments.
Work like a pro. Play like a pro. Tackle tough jobs. Dominate the game. Destroy the competition. Go professional. Choose Makita.
At the Gatorade Sports Science Institute, we test athletes in the lab. Because we know they'll be tested on the field. Gatorade, the most tested sports drink on the planet.
Halftime Halftime at the Gold Cup. Chicago, Illinois is where we are. United States with a 2-0 lead over Canada. Welcome back to our coverage of the semifinal round with Shep Messing. I'm Steve Cangelosi. This is a U.S. team that surrendered just one goal in this tournament. Canada needs to score twice to even this thing up. What an uphill climb now for the Canadians.
Yeah, Steve, I think the first half the U.S. played with much more energy. I have to believe Canada's going to try to regroup, pick up their pace of the game to try and get back in.
Well, a couple of plays make all the difference in the world. Let's take a look at what unfolded and why the U.S. is up by 2.
First half highlights, most of them to the USA. Ball at the top of the box. Landon Donovan looks up, squares the ball. Frankie Haydock cracks it with the right foot off the post. That's great recognition by Landon Donovan. Slots it over there. Michael Bradley ducks. Frankie Haydock connects.
And Pablo Mastroianni kept that attack alive for the United States as they take the 1-0 lead in a big spot. Haydock with his first goal for the U.S. in 8 years. And now the PK. DeMarcus Beasley is brought down by Pat Onstad. And Landon Donovan converts to make it 2-0. What a big call the penalty kick was at the end. So now if you're Stephen Hart, what do you do to try to get this going now, down 2?
Maybe he goes to the bench, but even if he doesn't, I think they have to pick up their work rate. The U.S. has shown some cracks defensively, but Canada has to go forward and challenge them.
When we come back, the second half at Soldier Field in Chicago. It's the first of 2 in the semifinal round, and much of the crowd still filing in from Mexico and Guadalupe later on tonight. We'll be right back.
At the Gatorade Sports Science Institute, we test athletes in the lab. Because we know they'll be tested on the field. Gatorade, the most tested sports drink on the planet.
Work like a pro. Play like a pro. Tackle tough jobs. Dominate the game. Destroy the competition. Go professional. Choose Makita.
Set to start the second half at Soldier Field. If you're Pat Onstad, you can't allow another. Canada is down 2. The United States possibly 45 minutes away from a return trip to the Gold Cup final. We get the signal to start the second half, and certainly an air of desperation right off the bat for Canada. Ali Gerba pushes forward, brought down in the U.S. area, but the ball squirts loose and it's controlled by the United States. Eddie Johnson up top for the U.S. on that left side, works it forward. There are no substitutions to start this second half of play. Johnson was injured earlier in this Gold Cup tournament. He scored a goal versus Trinidad and Tobago and then injured his right knee in that game, but he's rebounded days later, and the U.S. says he's at full strength. Getting the start in today's big semifinal match.
I don't think he's done much with the ball, Eddie Johnson, Steve, but he's done a good job making angular runs, opening up the field. It's his speed that's caused a problem for Canada. Right now, if you're the U.S., you don't want to sit back. You want to keep playing the way you did in the first half.
Eddie Johnson on the near side works it. Casey Keller has the shutout going for the United States. Haydock goes down on the near side of the field. That foul is called against Frankie Haydock, though.
Yeah, that's the individual matchup I talked about earlier. De Rosario has not got the better of it.
De Rosario puts this into open space. Jazik making a run, but he can't catch up to that. A little bit more about Keller in goal. Is this an indication to you that, especially if the score holds, that he'll be the choice for the final? Or do you go back to Tim Howard Sunday?
No, I think you go back to Tim Howard no matter what. I think this was a signature 100th cap for Casey Keller. I said at the top of the broadcast, if I were Bob Bradley, I would have done it differently.
Give away by Canada. Into open space. Donovan fans out a shot. Oh, he was set up by Beasley and couldn't put it home. How did the U.S. not make this 3-0? Back the other way now. Gerba puts the brakes on. Top of the box, lays it off. Bernier or Hutchinson with a drive. Punched out by Keller. End to end. This is still loose. A wild sequence from one end of the field to the other, and still this is a 2-0 game.
I can't believe the end-to-end action. Look at this ball, touched into Hutchinson, cuts it back with a left foot. Guess who blocks it? Frankie Haydock, the goal scorer, gets over and prevents a goal against the U.S. This is the other end of the field. Landon Donovan just mistimes that effort. The ball is slipped over by DeMarcus Beasley. You will rarely see that happen. An empty goal. Landon Donovan, all he had to do was tuck it in with the left foot.
You hardly ever see that, in particular from one of the most gifted players the U.S. has. But we play on 2-0.
Well, we've talked about the speed of the U.S. in this lineup. That was Beasley Donovan, 2-on-1, beat the defense, couldn't get that third goal.
De Guzman plays this back. Hastings is on the ball for Canada now, across to Hainaut. Stalteri, the captain for Canada, plays it forward. Bernier, far side of the field for Nash, but it's taken away. Good win of the ball by Mastriani, who's on it now for the U.S. Donovan, brought down by Stalteri. Foul called against Stalteri.
And for me, the best three players in the game for the U.S. have been Mastroeni, Michael Bradley, and this man, Landon Donovan. They have dominated in the middle of the field.
Free kick coming up for the U.S. Onstead sets his defense. Much of the Mexican fan base is filing in for the match now as we speak. Here's the set piece. In front, headed. Onyewu got on the other end of it, but goes wide of goal.
This is Landon Donovan hitting the in-swinger with the right foot. Onyewu really, he's in the right spot. His body at a terrible angle to try and get that on goal.
In the midfield, Johnson plays it back. Stephen Hart's team with a golden opportunity moments ago. Haydock crosses. Deflected out. Corner kick coming up for the United States.
Haydock's had a great game as well, and if for nothing else, Steve, that his constant runs down the right side of the field have kept De Rosario back defending, has not allowed De Rosario to get forward.
Donovan will take the corner. Bradley and the U.S. step up. There's Dempsey. Landon strikes it. Headed out by Canada. Mastriani keeps it alive in the direction of Beasley, who'll chase this down for the U.S. Marked by De Guzman, he lays it off. A 2-0 game. Bocanegra lofts one. Onstead got a hand on it. This will be another corner kick coming up for the U.S.
Yeah, Pat Onstead didn't know what to do with that ball. Bocanegra flighting it in with the left foot. Onstead, very unorthodox, figures, I don't want to deal with this. Let me touch it out for the corner.
Now as Johnson camped right there, Donovan set for another corner kick now for the United States. A strike again, headed in front, still loose. Hutchinson will walk out with this for Canada. Rosario, little backheel, taken away by Mastriani though. Dempsey plays it wide. Jazik retreats, he'll just knock this out for Canada. This will be a throw-in for the U.S.
This is not what Canada wants, Steve. We talked about what they need to do to get back in the game. Have to play with higher energy. It's the U.S. continuing to attack.
Dempsey with the toss in now, gives to Johnson. Haydock. Deflected high, then headed by Mastriani. Mishit by the U.S. on the far side where Beasley was, and a goal kick is coming up for Canada.
Landon Donovan doesn't always like to play out wide to the right, but when you have Donovan in the midfield right-sided, Beasley left-sided, you've got speed, you can stretch the defense, use the width of the field. You've done a great job doing that.
Quick look at the stands and you get that surreal scene as well. Remember how empty a lot of the stadium was at the start. It's filling up now. Here comes Canada, though. Offside flag goes up. Gerba was making a run on that right side.
Yeah, the more I think about the Bocanegra tackle, we've really not seen de Guzman in this game at all. There's Gerber, clearly 2 yards in an offside position. Inexcusable because he was looking at the defenders and looking at the ball. He should have known he's offside.
Keller with the free kick, plays it deep. This goes all the way back to Onstead in goal. The Houston Dynamo keeper lets it loose near the midfield stripe. Mastriani, he's won a lot of challenges today for the United States. This is played back now. Hainaut, and Onstead clears it away again, but this time mishits. It's a throw in for the United States. Bornstein tosses, and that's misplayed by Mastriani. This will come back the other way. Pablo Mastriani, the Colorado Rapids midfielder, 2-time World Cup veteran for the United States. Hainaut for Canada, which continues to trail by 2. Jazik plays it forward. Hutchinson had it taken away. Johnson wait for it, then lays it off. Beasley now for the United States. DeMarcus Beasley lays it to the left side. Bornstein marches forward, tries to cut around Bernier. He's knocked down. This will go Canada's way. Toss in for Stalteri, and time soon will become an issue. Again, the United States in this tournament has surrendered just 1 goal. That was to Blas Perez of Panama in the last game they played prior to today.
Well, right now, Steve, it's still all USA. We talked about for Canada, for them to have a chance to win the game, they needed big games from Stalteri, de Guzman, De Rosario. Those 3 really have not done much.
And De Rosario came in hot. 3 goals in 2 games. Gerber had been playing so well. Donovan now for the United States. Over the midfield stripe. Donovan gets by Nash. Runs smack into Hastings. This is played high by Dempsey. Beasley is brought down from behind. That's a foul called against Canada. DeMarcus wants a card too.
DeMarcus lucky not to get one as well, because after he gets taken down, he kicks out. Here's the initial foul. Beasley whips the left foot, doesn't get called for it.
Haydick now, one of the goal scorers for the United States. He got it started. Off the left foot. Deflected high by Hainaut. Brought down by Michael Bradley. Haydick couldn't control. Now De Rosario on the near side with some room to roam. He's over the midfield stripe. De Rosario runs into 2 U.S. defenders, Haydick and Mastriani. Back on his feet, tries to keep it alive. But the U.S. has it. Donovan now into open space. Johnson making a run. Onstead has it. No flag went up. That was a live ball.
Yeah, I think it was onside. Perfectly timed run. Onstead a little awkward, but got the job done.
De Guzman has it now for Canada. Julian de Guzman. Played it wide for Stalteri, and that's just a giveaway.
He's off his game. Let's see if he's on. That's a beautiful run. Little flick by Landon Donovan. Too much pace on the ball for Eddie Johnson to get on the end of it.
In the midfield, played by Mastriani. Dempsey gets it now from Johnson and lays it wide for Haydick. Frankie Haydick's been all over the field in this game. Mastriani, top of the box. Cleared away by Canada.
And I love the way the U.S. has covered for Frankie Haydick. When he gets forward, the previous play, De Rosario started down the left flank. Mastriani cut it off. That's textbook defending.
Beasley making a run down the left side. That was cleared away. Should note, if the U.S. does hold this lead in advance, Haydick in this tournament has not started 2 straight games. Maybe that factors into age a little bit, the short turnaround. Interesting to see whether he'd be the choice versus Mexico. Atiba Hutchinson now fights for it for Canada. Bornstein for the United States tried to play it. This will go the U.S. way. He came together with Ali Gerba.
Well, I think Bob Bradley has settled on this back 4, Steve. Bornstein on the left, Onyewu, Bocanegra in the middle, Frankie Haydick outside right.
And in the game's 64th minute, Stephen Hart goes to his bench. It'll be Ian Hume coming in from Martin Nash. Ian Hume, the 23-year-old midfielder, plays in England. He's been a goal scorer there. Beasley for the U.S. Johnson settles it off the chest, now tries to control. Eddie Johnson couldn't keep it alive. Jazik plays it. Here comes Canada back the other way.
Well, Hume, a much more attack-minded player, plays for Leicester City, and he is a much more attack-minded player than Martin Nash. Obviously, Canada needs a goal, and they'll risk a little bit in the defensive part of the midfield to try and get one.
De Guzman now for Canada. For Stalteri. Hainaut plays it high on the near side. Up to challenge for it was Di Rosario, and he didn't appreciate the body contact. Frankie Haydick was there. And Arcundia now, he's reaching into the pocket, and this will go against Frankie Haydick. Yellow card to Haydick in the 68th minute, and Shep, that now answers our question about the final, because Haydick was in caution trouble. That's it. That yellow card means he could not play in the final. Let's get another look at the foul.
Well, let's see if it's the initial foul or the aftermath. Oh, man. I'm not sure whether he got the yellow for that initial elbow or the little flick of the right hand. Either way, that is disastrous for Frankie Haydick. What a great game he's had, Steve. If the U.S. holds on, as you mentioned, he will not play in the final.
Yellow card to Di Rosario as well now in the game's 68th minute. So they both get yellow. Di Rosario for the reaction. The free kick one more time. And this remains a 2-0 game.
Yeah, Mastroeni doing a great job defending. Got fouled in the box trying to clear out that free kick.
And Ian Hume has decided to make his presence felt.
Well, that's what Canada needs, Steve. I talked about it at halftime. They have to come out with a little bit of fight, a little bit of energy. They have not done that.
Donovan thought he had taken the ball away for the U.S., but this is possession for Canada. Hutchinson was knocked down in the open field. Jazik on the ball, gives to De Guzman now. Julian De Guzman for Hume. Ian Hume lets one fly over the crossbar. Pretty good shot from about 25 yards out.
Yeah, Casey Keller not happy with his defense. Watch Hume turn. Nobody steps up to challenge the ball. That's what Casey Keller's shouting about. You cannot allow him to turn, face goal, get off a shot without pressure.
Back to live action, controlled in the midfield by Johnson now, who gets it off the goal kick. Clint Dempsey from Mastriani. Michael Bradley now. Plays it high to the far side of the field. Bornstein getting up for the U.S. Jonathan Bornstein crosses in front. He was looking for Donovan, but that's knocked away. De Guzman plays this for Stalteri, who's got some open space on the far side. Stalteri gives it up. Hutchinson lays it off for Hume. Ian Hume, little cutback, shot, score! Canada is on the board, and Ian Hume makes this a one-goal game. Don't go anywhere. It's 2-1 U.S. now.
Oh, baby, we talked about energy. This substitution, Casey Keller was shouting before that nobody pressured Hume. This time he gets the ball on the right, cuts it back nicely to his left, beats Bocanegra, whips it to the far post. Oh, baby, Canada needed that goal, Steve.
He checked into the game 12 minutes ago, and he's been the best player on the field ever since.
Hutchinson played a great ball to him. He cut it to his left peg, beat Bocanegra, and then whipped it to the far post.
That is huge. Canada now with hope. Jazik in the game's 77th minute pushes forward. Haydick. But a foul was called on Onyewu. And Canada is starting to buzz after Gerba was fouled.
I always talk about go get the next goal, Steve. U.S. was in cruise control, 2-0. Now all of a sudden momentum will change with this Canadian goal.
There's Gerba. Di Rosario will take the free kick though. Here's Di Rosario. Into the box, it's loose. That's Gerba who went down. Arcundia was right there. No foul called. Keller's got it.
Yeah, big bodies. That was on Yewu, on Gerba. A little bit of contact. No whistle.
Jazik played it. Donovan was knocked down as well, but we play on. So it's getting physical, and for Canada, a goal is needed. Stalteri gives to De Guzman now. It's 2-1. Haydock opened the scoring, then Donovan on a penalty kick gave the U.S. a 2-0 lead before Hume's strike makes it 2-1. Here's Ian Hume again. Tries a little whirly move to try to get around two defenders. Dempsey now lays it off for Donovan. Landon Donovan. Right side. Donovan cuts back. Dempsey has it. Haydock makes a run. Frankie Haydock, cross in front, but that's headed away by Stalteri.
That's good movement off the ball. Good passing by Clint Dempsey. Here's the previous play. Look at the contact on Yewu and Gerber. Nothing really there worth calling. Two big bodies fighting for that ball in the air. But I love that last play, the run off the ball, Donovan to Dempsey, Dempsey out wide. Now the U.S. gets a corner kick out of it.
Here's Donovan. He strikes it. In front, headed! Oh, that's Hume who made the stop! Ian Hume cleared it off the line. And he robs the U.S. of a goal. Top of the box, it's knocked away. Canada will march out with it.
That ball was going in, Steve. That's why a goalkeeper puts a guy at each post. Look at Hume, a little flick, back heel with the right foot. There's the header by Dempsey. That could have been game over.
He's done it all. Substitution for the United States now. Ed Johnson is out. Feilhaber will check in for the U.S. now. Benny Feilhaber started all three games in the group phase. A defensive substitution for the United States. Stephen Hart getting busy on the sidelines as well.
That's definitely a tactical sub for Bob Bradley. Put in a midfielder, take out a striker in Eddie Johnson.
Gerba checks out for Canada. And number 18, Issey Nakajima Ferran, the 23-year-old midfielder, checks in. And Taylor Twellman is checking in as well. Clint Dempsey is done for the match for the United States now. Twellman has a goal in this tournament. He scored against El Salvador, one of the prettier plays the United States has created in this tournament. And this is Taylor Twellman now, far side of the field, running together with Stalteri, the Canadian captain. The golden shoe Twellman lays it off. Donovan now brings it into the box, lays it off. Beasley puts it back. Twellman can't get to it. De Guzman for Canada races out with it. Fouled in the open field by the United States. Oh, and he is down. Straight red card for Michael Bradley now in the 89th minute. The U.S. will finish down a man.
What a game this young man has had, Michael Bradley. He has been, I think, one of the best players on the field. Let's take another look. That's a straight red card for the tackle from behind. Really a mental lapse for young Michael Bradley. I understand what he's thinking. He wants to break up the play, doesn't want De Guzman running into the midfield, but FIFA has defined that as a red card, a straight, and Ricardo Clark will come in to give more defensive bite to the midfield. But Michael Bradley, great game, and he will not play in the final as well if the U.S. gets there.
We're in added time. 4 minutes has been posted on the sideline. And Canada now is up a man. Can they make the advantage count? De Guzman. Top of the box. Hainaut was there. Cross for the Canadians. Knocked away by the U.S. Twellman lost his balance in the open field, and Stalteri plays it back for de Guzman now. Approximately 2.5 minutes for Canada to try to get the equalizer. Nakajima works it. Edge of the box. Jazik steps up. Haydick was there to defend, and he saved a corner kick. He knocked it out of the side. Quick toss in. De Guzman on the ball for Canada now. Cross. And cleared out by the United States.
USA is hanging on now, Steve. They're down a man. They have the goal lead.
De Guzman trying to shake loose of Taylor Twellman into open space. Haydick fighting for everything out there on the near side. Canadians still push forward, though.
What a game he has had on Yewu, and there's Frankie Haydick again.
Issy Nakajima Ferran will take the free kick in a big spot for Canada. Hume looks for space. He cracked that right off Donovan. Keller keeps it alive, and he's got it for the U.S. Donovan running after that. Back for the United States. Donovan can't get to it. Hastings cut him off. Onstead plays it wide, right back to Richard Hastings now. Big takeaway by Feilhaber, who gives to Donovan. Landon Donovan, near side, killing precious seconds for the United States in the corner. Whistle blows.
Well, that's all about clock management. Landon Donovan doing the right thing, taking that ball down into the corner, or they'll play it short again. You don't even want to go to goal, Steve. Don't want the goalkeeper to get the ball so he could go upfield. Landon Donovan will play it short again and wait for Canada to come get it.
4 minutes were posted originally. We're definitely going to see some time added to that. Donovan has it, and again, kills a little bit more, and they're going to say this is possession for Canada. They have to work quickly now. Onstead wants everybody up. 2-1, United States leads it. He plays it short, and now the attack builds for Canada. Jazik marches it forward. Every Canadian player has to run up now. Into open space. De Guzman couldn't get to it. Taken away by the U.S., but given away again. Top of the box. This is loose. Chance for Canada. Shot is in the net. Now a flag went up. Offside against Canada. And that's Atiba Hutchinson in disbelief.
Let's take a look. I think that ball was deflected by Onyewu. Canadian players going nuts. Stalteri over, talking to the referee's assistant, but the ref is waving it off. Let's take a look. Oh, that should have been a good goal, Steve. It only matters where the player is when the shot was struck, not where he was when it went off on Yewu's head.
Final seconds, that's it. The United States has won, and we've just had one of the more controversial finishes of this tournament. And we've had a few of them.
They are going nuts at Canadian players. I think they have every right to be complaining. Look to me, Hutchinson was in an onside position when that ball was struck.
We're back with a wrap of the semifinal at Soldier Field in a moment.
Work like a pro. Play like a pro. Tackle tough jobs. Dominate the game. Destroy the competition. Go professional. Choose Makita.
At the Gatorade Sports Science Institute, we test athletes in the lab. Because we know they'll be tested on the field. Gatorade, the most tested sports drink on the planet.
The first semifinal comes to an end with a 2-1 United States victory over Canada. Welcome back to our coverage of the Gold Cup semifinals, Soldier Field, Chicago, with Shep Messing. I'm Steve Cangelosi. That's going to be a long played ride home for the Canadian national team. A bitter pill to swallow. They were angry as they left the field. They have every right to be, judging by the replays we saw, Shep.
Yeah, Steve, I think they got robbed at the end, but they only have to look to their big players, Stalteri, de Guzman, de Rosario. They didn't play well enough.
Let's take a look at the highlights from start to finish in this one.
First half highlights dominated by the USA. Top of the box, Landon Donovan looks up, slots the ball wide. Frankie Haydock cracks it with the right foot off the post. Look at the vision of Landon Donovan. Look at the finish, Steve, by Frankie Haydock.
And it beats Pat Onstead off the post and in. That set up the United States. They're in business after Haydock's first goal in international play in a span of, about 8 years. Now the long pass by Clint Dempsey. DeMarcus Beasley down in the box.
Pat Onstead takes him down. Landon Donovan converts the PK. That makes it 2.
Second half, 2-0 United States. Would they hold the advantage? Well, here's a golden opportunity to add to it. Eddie Johnson is in, or rather DeMarcus Beasley, and he gives to Landon Donovan. What was that?
Put that in your highlight film. You will rarely see Landon Donovan take a swing and miss the ball. It's still 2-0, and Canada now trying to get back in the game. Cut back to the left foot. Hume with the left foot. Oh, baby, that makes it 2-1. Beats Bocanegra, beats Casey Keller.
Off the bench, the super sub, Hume, and he had another big play right there.
Well, that's a great header on the corner kick by Clint Dempsey. Dempsey gets up. Hume with a little flick prevents a goal.
Biggest save of the game at that point. Now Canada with the controversial finish.
Hutchinson gets in behind. End of stoppage time. This is off on Yewu. This should have been a good goal. They ruled him offside. Disaster for Canada.
And the game would come to an end just moments after that. The final score 2-1 United States. And 2 players for the United States who had great games in the semifinal. Michael Bradley, red-carded in the 89th minute. Frankie Haydock picked up a yellow, but that means because of caution accumulation, he can't play in the final on Sunday either. Those 2 guys coming off maybe their best games of the tournament, Shep.
Steve, I think you're right. They both played terrific in the game, in the semifinals. For the savvy veteran, Frankie Haydock, he understands it. For young Michael Bradley, he'll be heartbroken not to play in the final.
And you may notice the stadium is filling up behind us for the second semifinal at Soldier Field in Chicago. What we know for fact, the United States is in. Who will they play on Sunday? Will it be the 4-time Gold Cup champion Mexico or the Cinderella story of this tournament, Guadeloupe, in its first ever Gold Cup? Can they actually beat the team many feel is the best in this tournament and get to the final round on Sunday? We'll see. The United States is in, though. For Shep Messing, I'm Steve Cangelosi. Once again, we hope you've enjoyed our coverage of Concacaf Gold Cup 2007.